Ma, I want to help you. Get me started in the business.
Hi, Mekai. This is Tishelle with Urban Bridges. Thank you for taking the time to speak with us. This is such a huge role, not only the star of the show, but also taking on a character that we are already familiar with. What was one of the biggest obstacles that you had to face early when you accepted this role, and how did you overcome it?
One of the biggest obstacles early, um, honestly, was once I started studying 50 and um, actually no, this is right before I started studying 50 because I had the knowledge that the show was going to be in New York. I had already started, building a character around being in New York, especially in Queens and all this other stuff. Um, but then there was like this I guess this like slight missing piece that I couldn't really put my like foot on, whatever you want to call it. And that came in, the form of Doug Honoroff, who's our dialect coach, who really helped me like fine tune what was happening with the character, understand and dissect his mechanics and how he moves and how he sits certain ways. And even this is like this little thing he does with his eye sometimes, and he just if he really wants to connect with you, he'll really kind of like stare but not stare. But it's like, so it was little stuff like that that was probably the biggest challenge. And I think the little things were the biggest challenge overall, but I think that yields the greatest reward too.
Opening scene, you had the eyes down, so good job. This role right here embodied everything that a Black woman is, a Black single mother, and you bodied this role. What was it about this character that women could relate to no matter where you are from? What was it about this role that made you decide that you wanted to tackle this one?
I think it's the fight in Rock. I think it's the passion and the drive and this sort of like, I don't know, it's not just her ambition, but it's just who she is. And, being able to be successful in this world, not have that question in the way that like, men get to do this and play these powerful roles and be these powerful things and have families and no one questions how they can do it. And to be able to be Rock, who is successfully how hard it is and when you're raising a son and what that is. And, she's a single mother by choice, and women do it all the time. Women do it all the time. They're strong, they're ferocious, they're resilient, and we pick up, we do what we have to do. We carry the weight of everybody else's shit on our shoulders, and we do it all the time. And Rock just gets to be that while also doing the other thing, which is being a boss, being messy, three-dimensional in a way that you don't really get to be. And I think it's just really refreshing to see her be bossy and be messy and, sexy and like white women get to do all of these things all the time in TV. And now, you got a chocolate sister who's able to sort of like do her thing and be sort of this woman where we can see ourselves reflected in that in some way. Obviously, maybe not in the crime, but she is raw and authentic in herself. And that's what I love about it.
You nailed the role. Awesome job.
Thank you. Thank you.
London, can you tell us about Marvin Thomas? What is he to the show? Who is his character?
Marvin is the conflict guy who has troubled relationships. But the core of him is love and loyalty to his family. He's just got to deal with his issues first, because the issues get in the way of his solid progression as far as the position that he wants to be in. So until he deals with his own demons, he's going to be getting into it, and we see that throughout the season.
Speak with us. Hailey, this question is for you. Was it intimidating at all to jump into a role that audiences were already familiar with?
I wouldn't say intimidating as much as it was super exciting. I love a challenge. I love being challenged, and I knew this was going to be a very emotionally complex character. Just knowing where she ends up in the first installment of the series. So yeah, I was just excited.
The best part about working with the rest of the cast for me, everybody's so damn good. Like, I tell the story of like my first chemistry read with Patina. She just came in the room with such elegance and such poise and power. And then when we got into the scene, all of that just got amplified by like 3,000. And me as a person, I'm somebody that's gonna reciprocate whatever energy I'm getting. And especially when I'm at work, it's especially with something like acting, when you kind of relying on whoever the other person is in that scene with you to feed what's happening. And that's kind of what happened. And it's literally been the same with every person on set. Everybody's so full of life and light, and they bring so much to these characters. Everybody has such a big personality, but there's no room for egos. Everybody has these big personalities, but everybody makes room for these big personalities. Everybody's respected and heard and appreciated, which is, essential for something like this. It's a collaborative effort, from everybody down from Sasha and Courtney at the top of the showrunners to, Super Dave, who's our damn prop director, who, asks us every day, hey, what juice do you want to drink in this scene? Or, which book bag are you feeling today? Or do you want your keys? Do you want your pager just on your hip? I know we don't see it, but so that's the sort of stuff that, makes going to set every day that much more enjoyable and that much easier.
Hi, Sasha. How are you? Tishelle with Urban Bridges. Thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us. Can you break down Kanan's family dynamic for us? Tell us the dynamic of each of them and what they bring to the story.
Can I say? I mean, I think Rock, who's Kanan's mom, sort of functions as the sun around which all the other planets orbit. Not just for Kanan, but also for her brothers. Marvin is her older brother, who's a little bit of a hothead. Then there's Lulu, who's her younger brother, who is sort of the detail guy. He's the guy that you can rely on to get the job done. There's Kanan, who on a certain level functions as the heart of the series and the heart of the family. And then there's Jukebox, who was brilliantly played by Anika Noni Rose in the original Power, who functions a little bit as the family's conscience, where she, because of who she is, she keeps she keeps everyone at arm's length a little bit because she has this secret life of her own. And that allows her to sort of look in on her family from the outside a little bit and sort of see who everybody is and evaluate the decisions they're making and the choices they're making and sort of decide for herself whether that's something she's comfortable with. So yeah, I think that's kind of everybody. There's other characters. I mean, Omar Epps plays a detective who, is out there sort of policing the streets to a certain extent. He seems to be going after Rock, but there's other issues in the neighborhood. He has a partner who's played by Shanley Caswell. Her name is Shannon Burke on the show. So the world is populated with all sorts of interesting characters who have their own points of view and perspectives on what's happening.
Why should we tune into Raising Kanan?
Y'all ain't doing shit on, what night is it? You ain't doing shit. It's the pandemic still, kind of. I'm just kidding. Best show on television. That's my answer. Best new show on television.
I think I think anybody that's a fan of Power and the whole Power universe. The reason that the one thing about this is because it's the prequel. So it's and like we've been mentioned, you don't have to watch the other ones to understand where ours is coming from, because ours is the start of the whole thing. So catching the prequel, I think, is going to help bring about an understanding to what people already know.
I would say definitely watch it for the nostalgia, not just of the 90s, but the people and the different personalities that these actors have all given each individual character. It's so you will find a piece of yourself or your mom or your dad or your uncle or your nephew in every single character.
Sasha, you've been with Power since the beginning of this franchise. Can you tell us why you believe it is still so successful after so many years?
I think because, people, it's what always works in TV, to be honest, is that people love the characters. You know, they get invested in these characters and their story. Half-hour comedy or a drama at a certain point becomes a family drama, you know, because people become so invested in the characters that that's what they care about. And they want to see the characters' lives. They want to live those characters' lives with them. And I think that's what Power has done an incredible job of. People love Ghost. They love Tommy. They love Kanan. They want to have those people in their lives. You know, it's comforting, it's exciting, it's compelling, it's all that. And I think that's what makes, you know, the best